Good morning. Welcome to the Hardcore Mortgage Real Estate Business Show, brought to you by Capital Mortgage Funding. We are in our 21st and a half years, coming up on 22 years, bringing you 1 hour of Hardcore Mortgage Real Estate Business Talk here live in the studio. We've got a great panel today. Harry Glanz is joining us.
Good morning, Harvey. Good morning, everybody. It should be a fantastic day to talk about mortgages and real estate, right, Harv?
Yes, sir. Definitely. We'll try to always work out the audio things again. Our team here will turn down your computers. And as we do the Zoom broadcast, we've got Matt Bush. There he is. Hey, Matt, how's it going?
Pleasure to be back with you guys, Harry. I love talking to you guys about mortgages and real estate.
Great. Matt Bush, ReMax First, of course. Lisa Lawson joins us. Good morning, Lisa.
Morning, everybody.
Jeremiah Hoehner also joins us from AAA. A little talk about homeowners insurance. Always a lot going on. Hey, good morning, Jeremiah. How are you, sir? Great. Hey, man, you sound fantastic. So keep it right there. Whatever you're doing with your audio, keep it right there. We're going to take your calls, 248-539-9797. A lot to dive into when we talk about real estate, and that's why we brought the insurance guy on. Matt, you see it out there. A lot of families are even looking at that vacation home now or a second home somewhere, but they don't really live there all year long, and then they want to rent it out and stuff. So there's opportunities out there, Matt, but people have to protect themselves on home purchases nowadays.
Yeah, we talked about it on Wednesday. There's a lot of equity in people's houses these days, so they can take that $100,000 out, take out a home equity line of credit or something, and go put it down on that second house, that lake house, just that vacation house. And yeah, with the internet, you can rent that out week by the day, by the week, by the year, and bring in some passive income that oftentimes is going to pay the note on it. So it's definitely happening. We're seeing more and more of it, especially here in Michigan, where we're so, vacation kind of oriented. And honestly, they're the funnest showings. I was over on Lake St. Clair yesterday. We had a house with like 7 door walls because it was just all Lake St. Clair.
Oh, yeah.
Beautiful. So it's definitely happening. It's a great way to maybe supplement some income, especially if you're looking to retire in the near future, to maybe buy that second house, you rent it out. And then when you're ready to kind of make that full-time move to the lake, then you sell your primary residence.
Harry, there's no doubt the pandemic is starting to see I don't know if it's ever going to fully end, but definitely some light at the end of the tunnel here. The Fed met, and they say that things are definitely improving. And again, when would we see interest rates burp up, Harry? Is it going to take the Fed to see 2, 3, 4 months of the economy really improving? And when we do see rates go up, Harry, it's not going up that high, but definitely going to be a little bit up bump here.
Well, let's put everything in proper perspective here. You're talking about 10 and 15-year interest rates in the mid-2s, and you're talking about 30-year interest rates in the low 3s. So when you talk about going up, what is the Federal Reserve looking for? What will change the Federal Reserve's mind? Well, number one, inflation. That will change the Federal Reserve's mind, and they're projecting somewhere between 2.5% and 3.5% inflation, Harvey. If it goes above 3.5% to 4.5%, then you might see a little bit of a tightening. That's number one. Number two, if people start and continue to irrationally spend, driving the prices of costs and services up, which will drive inflation up, that has a big, big influence on what mortgage interest rates are going to do. But let's keep it in perspective. When you're talking about going up, where are we going from the mid-2s to low 3s? We're going to go to the mid-3s to the high 3s? I mean, come on. Let's keep it in perspective, and everybody keep doing what you're doing in terms of don't irrationally spend. I know, and Matt's going to talk about it, and so will Lisa, about the real estate market, where prices are going, where appreciation's going. But you know what? I don't like it when I see human beings repeating the same bad behavior.
Lisa Lawson, first-time homebuyers made up 31% of the April buyers. There's a lot of opportunity out there. Although we talk about the inventory being very low, these low interest rates are definitely getting our first-time home buyers really excited. And we had tons of success stories. Tell us about a couple of things, buyers getting with a little bit of money down, some of the things you've been working on.
Yeah, I mean, yes, it may take a little bit more time. You may have to see a few more houses before your offer is accepted, but it's still happening. I have buyers who are still getting offers accepted using MSHDA down payment assistance. It's still happening. We still have people getting in with FHA programs. You hear out there, well, you can't get in unless you have a conventional loan and extra money down. And yes, those are ideal situations, but it doesn't mean that's the only type of buyer that needs to be out there. We're still seeing everybody's offers getting accepted. Just instead of maybe having to see 3, 4 houses and making an offer and getting it accepted, you might have to see 20 houses and make 6 offers or 8 offers before the right fit works, but it is still happening. So you just have to be a little bit more patient, realize it's going to take a little bit more time. And what that means is be prepared a little earlier. We normally say, you always want to make sure you have your pre-approval in line, but if you have a lease that's coming up and it's going to be expiring and you can't go month to month, and that's going to happen in September, you might want to be looking right now, because it could take you that long to find the right house. So I would just say be prepared, start a little sooner than you think you normally would, and you're going to be fine.
I want to bring you into the conversation, Jeremiah Hoehner, AAA, always talking insurance, protecting themselves. People don't know about their insurance really until they look at it or something bad happens. Hate to say it, Jeremiah, but a lot of families have been buying these second homes. And then I wanted to know, because we keep getting calls on this stuff. So I buy a vacation home up north. A lot of our listeners are headed up there right now to enjoy a long, nice weekend. Got Memorial Week coming up next weekend. Jeremiah, so what happens on one of the months? Let's say I can't use it in the month of June, and I allow my brother's family to go up there, or my brother's friend's family, and all of a sudden there's strangers living there and something happens to the place. Am I still insured, and how does that work?
Well, good morning, Harvey. Yes, absolutely. So there's different ways that this is handled on a secondary dwelling. That's what that's called. There is a new feature and a product out there that many companies do have. It's a Airbnb or home hosting incidental rental coverage. This is a great way to make sure that you're protected, because what that does is it opens up extra coverage for your stuff, your personal belongings, for the people that are staying there that are not normally there. And it's over a certain period of time, but it's a great way to take advantage of that option. And you basically want to make sure you talk to your agent, because we got to figure out how long is this period going to be. That the timing of it all plays a role in it. So it's a great question to ask, and that's what we advise.
Yeah, definitely consult your insurance agent again and find out what type of insurances might be available. There's new products coming out in the market always, just like in our industry or any industry. You got to stay abreast of what's going on in the industries. Constant change. 248-539-9797. Let's circle back to Matt Bush over there. Matt, I know, you know what I love about it, Matt? 28 counties border, the Great Lakes here. So we've got all sorts of water opportunities. Last night, you're talking about a great property you saw out on Lake St. Clair and the river and everything. Hey, Matt, we saw some families headed out to the mountains. They were headed out to get more land and get that ATV, that vehicles, and they wanted to stretch their legs. But with the pandemic, horizon that things are slowing down, will we see a shift in many families and single people and first-time homebuyers say, you know what, I do like city life. I want to be down here in downtown Detroit.
Yeah, and I think there was kind of a rush to get out of the major metro areas, towards last year, because people were scared about things kind of passing quickly. But as bars and restaurants and amenities don't follow as quickly, to those suburban areas, people are going to find themselves, hey, I moved 20 minutes out of town, but I'm still driving 30 minutes to go to my favorite bar, my favorite restaurant. And I think those that are really kind of considering it are seeing the light at the end of the tunnel now. And maybe instead of leaving the condo that they're in downtown and driving, to Washington Township, maybe they're considering neighborhoods like the North End, which is a part of Detroit, east of Woodward, north of Grand Boulevard. A lot of duplexes, a lot of space, a lot of houses have been torn down. So there's a lot of vacant lots. So you can almost have that kind of space, those amenities still close to what you've kind of grown accustomed to. And you're getting, houses in that area were selling for $1,000 2-3 years ago. Now they're going for $190 to $250. So we've seen a major shift in the market in certain areas. Mexican Town and Corktown and Southwest Detroit are also really huge. You're seeing to the southwest of the city. And then you're seeing growth to the northeast into areas called Jefferson Chalmers, just south of Grosse Pointe. You've got an area called Marina District, which is just south of that, which is right along the water there at Jefferson. And then further right, just past downtown, you've got Island View, which is hugely popular. It's right off, obviously, Belle Isle. It's the area right on, in Detroit. But you can find, a nice house. A lot of people are redoing it. It's kind of just past Indian Village, West Village, those areas.
Right on, yep.
A lot of vacant land there. So you can buy a house and then have just space to go ahead and do your own thing.
All right. Inventory is going to be the talk of the town. We got tons of information to share with you. Keep it here on 97.1 The Ticket. Inventory, it was, it is, and it will be the story in 2021. Keep it here. We'll tell you how to get that house you're looking for.
Hi, Harry Glantz and Dan Burke from Capital Mortgage Funding. Over 30 years in the mortgage banking industry, hundreds of thousands of families served. Let us serve you. Capital Mortgage Funding, 1-800-LOW-RATE, the best mortgage banker.
Welcome back to the show. We are broadcasting live in the studio. May 22nd, would you believe it? We got Memorial Weekend next weekend coming up here. I know a lot of boats going in the water, and a little boater safety tip always from me. Why not? I couldn't get mine started yesterday. I guess I need a water pump or something. It's always something with boaters out there. But anyways, be safe. That's the key out there. And don't drink and drive. Be safe. Keep your passengers safe on the boats. 248-539-9797. You listen to the Hardcore Mortgage Real Estate and Business Show. Again, brought to you by Capital Mortgage Funding. We are powered by Fairway Independent Mortgage Corporation, NMLS 2289, Equal Housing Lender. And you can call us live in the studio and talk to great people like Matt Bush, Lisa Lawson, Harry Glantz. That's a lot of experience right there. You throw me in the mix. And now we got the insurance guy, Jeremiah Hoehner, making sure that you're insured properly. And we'll get into Jeremiah because everyone wants to talk to the insurance guy. That's one of those things you always want to call your insurance guy and you never get around to doing it. And then it's going to rain outside and your downspouts might not be pointed in the right direction. So we got lots to share with you. Lisa, let's just dive into some first-time home buyer stuff. And really what's going on in the mortgage world. So we'll reach back out to Lisa Lawson, tons of experience in the mortgages. Lisa, we're getting people pre-approved, we're setting them up. But with the overbidding and everything, it's become part of our conversation is how much money are you working with in today's marketplace? Because if you go ahead and go 10, 15, 20,000 over asking price, you need to have those funds.
Yeah, this isn't a unique situation, and every area is a little different. Some areas are, worse than others, but it's very difficult right now. If you see a house that's going to be listed for 190 and you want to make an offer for 190, people don't understand. I offered full asking. Why am I not winning the bid? Why am I not hearing that if the house is mine? And unfortunately, there are so many people making offers, supply and demand, that a lot of bids are coming into these homes. People are making, a lot of offers, and they're often accepting ones that have offers over asking with what we call appraisal guarantees. And that means that people are going to say, look, I'll pay up to $10,000 more than appraised value, $5,000, whatever the scenario is. So you have to have that conversation with your with your loan officer. It may be that you intended on putting, say, 10% down, but because of these guarantees that are often needed with these homes, it may be that we're going to write that approval for 5% down. So now we've freed up cash for you so you can get guarantee on the home and get the bid accepted. So there are ways to deal with it, but it's it's a unique market, and you definitely need to be prepared and have that conversation and make sure that you have those funds available. Just saying that you're going to do that and then come to the closing and realize you don't have the money, that's not going to work out. So we always have to have a plan.
Matt Bush, staging a home nowadays, I mean, do you need to? Is it the old furniture that the folks have in there already? Sometimes just decluttering. Where do you see, what are sellers needing to do in today's market? Because we have had some weird calls where buyers are going on homes and the homes are in bad shape. They really are in bad shape. And in today's competitive market, your agent's not doing you a favor unless you spruce it up a little.
Yeah, I mean, I've walked through some really dirty houses these days. People who have dogs that just like let them mess in the backyard, and then you're kind of walking through it with a buyer and just like, what could these people possibly be thinking? How could you not just spend 5 minutes cleaning up before you left instead of like, apparently it looks like a hurricane just hit your house. But you don't have to do too much. I've got some clients that are considering like, should we redo all the floors? Should we repaint all the houses? I'm like, I always tell them just kind of, let's focus on just getting people in the door, pricing the house properly. Cause a lot of conversations we're having now are people who want to price their house way over expensive because they think they can get it because they hear everybody's getting, an arm and a leg and all that stuff, but you still got to price it right to get that arm and a leg. So I always say to focus on the major things that are going to be, eyeball catchers. But, everybody's going to walk in and say, I want to repaint this or change that. So, I helped a client this week kind of make more of a neutral house. It was a single guy. He lives alone. Everything's dark and discolored. So I worked with one of my staging companies to get, more neutral colors in there, some pinks, some blues, some whites to offset the darkness of the house. So it's doing small things like that, but I wouldn't bend over backwards to try to do that, because if the house is priced properly, you're going to have a parade of people through your house that are going to overlook that. And then, like Lisa said, still give you more than what you're asking for. Even if the siding's falling down or if you have ants infested in your thing, they're still going to want to buy your house because there's so few on the market.
Harry, you talked about it this week. Yeah, a lot of the families have just kicked it down a notch. Maybe they'll wait till the fall just because of the inventory situation out there. And again, we're talking about more of Harry, the empty nesters. I'm directing my conversation towards you on that one, because a lot of the families we've talked to, Harry, instead of doing desperate things or overbidding, they might hunker down in their house, Harry, and take advantage of a cash out refinance. Sometimes you can make your home, really homey by redoing the kitchen, bathroom, and maybe even a floor to room or an addition or a new deck or something like that. Harry, cash out refinance is definitely, maybe just stay put.
Well, a couple things are happening in the market, Harvey. You've got your first time home buyers that are trying to get into the market. They have to overbid, and they've looked at 10, 20, 30 houses, and they're running into that kind of rat race on there. And some of them right now, Harvey, are throwing up their hands and saying, you know what, we're going to wait. We're tired of this. We're not finding the house that we want. We don't want to overbid anymore right now. We're going to take a little pause, a little time out. We're going to stay at our apartment a little longer, maybe extend the lease another 6 months and see what happens. But on the other hand, you have people that really want to stay in that game, and they're putting in multiple offers with multiple overbid situations. But one thing we would never recommend, Harvey, is never, and you talk about, and Matt brought it up, the home repair situation, you got to hire an inspector to go through that house. Never waive that inspection. Please, everybody out there, you can overbid, you can do what you want, but when it comes to negotiating, you don't have to negotiate a purchase price on an inspection, but I would never put in an inspection waiver. I hope that made a lot of sense.
Yeah, I'll tell you, with the competitive bids out there, just this morning talking to a friend about the purchase, and he's buying and selling a house. He ended up giving a $5,000 seller's concessions. They did come up with maybe $5,000 to $12,000 worth of repairs, and they did negotiate that down. So again, without that opportunity, families aren't, they're moving into a house and now they're having to shell out a lot of out-of-pocket expenses. If you're already overpaying for a house, it might not leave you a lot of money. Sort of let's segue the conversation to Jeremiah Hoehner, AAA Insurance. Jeremiah, that's one of the things too. Harry mentioned it. People are waiving inspections. Well, when you guys were insuring houses in the past, the sellers lived there forever, so you figure the house was insured. Now the buyers would do a home inspection. So then they call you up to get the insurance. Well, at least they had a set of eyes on that house. A lot of these houses now, I'm just asking you, Jeremiah, there's no doubt some of these houses, you guys are slapping insurance policies on them and no one's really inspected them. Tell me about that.
Right. So anytime that we have a new purchase, we're going to send out an inspection. Now, that could be anywhere between 2 to 4 weeks after. It just depends on the inspection company that's used. But
Okay.
if they find things that are not, if you've got siding damage or you've got debris in the yard, like Matt talked about, anything where water or wind can get into that house or any type of other exposure, there's going to be an issue with your insurance company. You really want to make sure you're on top of that as you head into starting that policy. And it's just furthermore another reason to have someone to talk to about it, because you want to go into this knowing what's going to happen and what some of those potential landmines are going to be.
Yeah, I really like that idea. Like you guys go out there 2 or 3 or 4 weeks after, and you can slap on a new fee saying, hey, you can reach out to the homeowners and saying, look, the policy is going to cost you more money unless you address these items.
Correct. Yeah, we want to make sure that the house is in good condition, and it's not that we're trying to penalize any insured. We want to make sure that is going to be a safe, secure place for them with no minimal loss or no exposure. So that's kind of the direction we're going with it.
Matt, no doubt, man. I mean, the insurance companies don't even go in these houses. Boy, it'd definitely be nice to get an inspector and to tell you, the guy was going on an inspection this morning, Matt, and I told him, I said, hey, the key with the home inspection, again, whether you're going to go back, if it's a pass fail, you're going to go back and negotiate, walk around with the inspector so he can teach you about the functionality of the home. And I'll tell you, I've never met a humidifier that was working. So, I mean, maybe 70% of them don't even work. They all need new filter changes. And if you're giving the seller 60 days occupancy, Matt Bush, maybe by pointing out, hey, look, I'm not negotiating back, but this filter needs a changing, this little things that they can do at least to keep the house moving in the right direction. They're going to be there, Matt, another 30 or 60 days for free. It wouldn't be so bad if you pointed out a few things they could do to make the house safe and clean.
Yeah. And my thought is, if they're trying to keep a clean house to sell it, right? So after it's sold, after they're not having people try to spruce it up, what's it going to look like? Are they going to keep up with the maintenance? I mean, maybe you need to negotiate something like a Molly made into the contract or an escrow saying, hey, listen, you need to clean this, or, because I always suggest we hold an escrow post-close, because let's say a window breaks or something happens between occupancy. I want to make sure that my buyers aren't moving into a house that just had, paintball wars inside of it. So we're holding escrows to make sure that if something happens, if the tenant doesn't vacate or the seller doesn't vacate, we saw a story about that in, I think it was Washington, that they sold or Wisconsin, they sold the house and then the seller kept the money, didn't vacate because there was a rent moratorium and they couldn't get evicted. So we're holding money. That's what, professional agents are doing. We're looking for all sides to figure out what could possibly go wrong, and back to Lisa's point, the way that I'm showing my buyers to be successful right now, I'm not showing houses the first weekend it's on the market. I'm waiting for houses maybe a second, a third, a fourth weekend when it's been on the market. Not that many last that long, but when it's been on the market for 9, 14, 26 days, people have identified there's something wrong with it. Maybe it's fallen in and out of escrow or in and out of pending status. Maybe it failed an inspection. So, the sellers are more likely to make a deal. That's how Lisa and we got an FHA offer accepted under asking price because we didn't go in the first day guns blazing. We waited a weekend. They had the parade of sellers, or the buyers rather. And then we came in, we gave them a fair offer. We pointed out exactly what we were concerned with. We said, we won't bring these up during the inspection, but this is our concern and this is why we're offering this. And the offer was accepted. FHA, down payment assistance, everything he needed. So it's a professional agent right now that's navigating these crazy multiple bid situations. And sometimes you just have to rely on it. You might not get your first pick, but if you have good trusted representation, they're going to put you on the path to success.
It only took you 24 minutes, Matt, to say professional agent on our show. That's a beep, beep, beep. Everyone out there listening gets $5 extra for that one. But I'll tell you, it's a huge difference. And I might have ran across an agent that might have not been professional lately. He said he was doing us a favor by communicating with me. So you might want to run from that guy. When we come back, let's talk about all the great stuff out there. 248-539-9797. We'll be back.
Hi, Harry Glantz and Dan Burke from Capital Mortgage Funding. Over 30 years in the mortgage banking industry, hundreds of thousands of families served. Let us serve you. Capital Mortgage Funding, 1-800-LOW-RATE, the best mortgage banker.
All righty, welcome back. 9:30. It's May 22nd, and you're listening to the Hardcore Mortgage Real Estate Business Show, brought to you by Capital Mortgage Funding. 1-800-LOW-RATE, the best mortgage banker. Again, always powered by Fairway Independent Mortgage Corporation. We are a top 5 lender in the United States. More importantly, we hold every product out there. We can get you any type of mortgage, usually for any situation. Again, make sure you keep your credit up. We've got Lisa Lawson here who can talk to you about credit. Matt Bush will talk to you from ReMax First about buying and selling a house. Jeremiah Hoehner, of course, talking about some insurance on here. If you have any calls, 248-539-9797 all morning long. I'm Harvey Fried, and Harry Glange joins us also. Matt, I was just going to go throw out there, readers head out there, U.S. home sales fell for the third straight month in April for the acute shortage of homes. There's no properties out there to sell. So, of course, prices are at record highs as the values go up, supply and demand. That's pretty easy to figure out. But, Matt, we were talking about maybe some just different strategies out there and buying and selling. I like the one you threw out there. Some of the houses I've been out there for the second or third week, those people might want to get a little bit more serious out there. They've had a little feedback. Sometimes you can negotiate a little bit more of a price if the house has been on the market already for some time.
Yeah. And you know what? This is a relationship business too. You know, that's why you hire somebody who's a professional, is because we have relationships with the listing agent, the buying agent. We know each other. We're all trying to accomplish the same goal. You know, sometimes if someone's trying to get a deal or get one over on someone, you have that animosity. And that's why you bring in kind of neutral third and fourth parties to kind of really navigate that process. But, you know, I think I tell you this every time, but real estate isn't a monolith. One thing isn't true for the entire market. You know, in April, I was just doing some stats. There were an average of 622 houses a day listed. You know, yesterday alone, there were 824 new houses that hit the market. So there's about a 15% to 20% increase in houses going to market this month versus last month. Now, if you couple that with what Harry said about inflation, if that continues to go up and we increase more interest rates, then you're going to have an increase in interest rate, which is a reduction of buying power. You're going to have a lack of scarcity on the selling market. So now is really the time to sell. You know, I'm working with a house over here in St. Clair Shores, beautiful brick ranch, perfect starter home, 3 beds, 1.5 bath, detached garage over here. And it's, you know, we've got a parade outside. We bought it for $120,000 3 years ago, and it's only $189 now. That doesn't sound like a whole lot, but the amount of equity my seller is going to get on that and roll that into his next house with his girlfriend and his family, it's a great time. So come see 20600 Sunnyside, 11 to 1 today here in St. Clair Shores. It's 48080.
That's great. You can call Matt Bush too. Just Google him. You know, Matt Bush name will pop up. ReMax First over there. He definitely that house will be gone. Multiple bids on that one. Again, 3-bedroom brick ranch, St. Clair Shores on the water. What a winner! Don't scare them yet.
We don't have many offers yet, so don't scare everybody. We priced it right. You know, it needs some updates, just like a lot of the houses, but it's a great starter home. You know, it's big enough. It's got that floored room extension like so many of us do. It's got that big 2.5 car detached garage, and it's right next to one of our super famous breweries down here in St. Clair Shores. So a lot of fun times near the dog park, right near 94, so you can be wherever you want to be in the city really quick.
You're going to get multiple bids on it. Say what you want. If that house is still around next week, Matt, we'll keep talking about it and advertise it here on the show. 248-539-9797. Hey, Harry, there's no doubt out there. People always say, if I'm overbidding on these houses, this is scary. Supply and demand's making me overbid. But, well, this poor lending in the past has nothing to do with like a bubble in today's situation. There was some poor lending in the past. People, all sorts of people, stated income loans here, all those bad loans out there. I don't see that happening now in today's marketplace. Could you sort of give us a little feedback on your thoughts on that? Is there any bubble out there because everyone's overbidding?
Yeah. And Harvey, first of all, I think I heard Harvey say that if the house doesn't sell this week, he's going to buy it from you. But I thought I heard him say that. But anyways,
I'll rent it out. I'm good.
In 2008, 2007, 2008 was a different time than when the mortgage industry, real estate industry, there were really a lot of things going on, a lot of moving parts. But let's talk about the lending piece. At that time, there was the subprime mortgage industry, which we never participated in. And that's what everybody is worried about now. They're saying, well, look what happened in the past. Look what lenders did to people and put them in bad mortgage programs. Well, number one, we never put anybody in a bad mortgage program. Number two, there were bad mortgage programs out there. And there are, number three, people that never should have gotten loans. That's just a statement of fact. Now, there are bumpers and restrictions put into place. When I use that term, there aren't any liar loans out there. Nobody is doing those loans. People learn their lesson. Now, Harvey, if you're talking about people that want to buy a home, that are qualified to buy a home, that have the necessary credit, resources, job experience, yes, anybody that falls into time on the job, income, and good credit, they can get a loan. And that's always been the case. So anybody who wants to buy a home, there are so many programs out there, first-time home buyer programs, MISHDA program, which Lisa will get into, VA loans, that's zero down for our veterans who served our country. There are so many types of programs that people that qualify, keyword is qualify, have the right experience on the job, income. You need to have an income to pay back the loan. That's what it's all about, Harvey.
248-539-9797. If you want to join the show, we're going to give you a mortgage and real estate talk up until 10 o'clock, and then it'll be Pat Caputo with sports, social commentary, and a whole lot more. Lisa Lawson, here he always brings up interesting things. He touched like the MISHDA loans, getting people excited, 3% down. Then also, Lisa, we got the VA loans and USDA loans. Those are zero down programs. And in northern Macomb County, not too far from your place, Lisa, that's a USDA, that's a rural development area. So any of the counties, pretty much, you can go zero down, and we'll help you get to that, get that program set up for you.
Yeah, absolutely. So USDA is a great program. It is set up obviously for rural areas. Now, all of these programs, whether it's 0% down USDA or even MISHDA, they do have some income guidelines, asset guidelines, and some limitations, but we're going to help you through all that. And if you qualify, you're absolutely going to get into pre-approval and be able to go out there and start looking at properties.
Great stuff. Hey, Lisa, you know what we got here? Ray on. And good morning, Ray. Thanks for joining us. I believe you're a veteran. You wrote here, VA certificate, become real purchase house. Tell me more, Ray. What do you got going on? Sure. Oh. Yes. Yeah, it is. Yep. Well, VA, what's great call, Lisa. He doesn't know, and Ray, it's a great call because VA really unlimited it a couple of years ago. So you're unlimited on what you can borrow through the VA. It's a couple $1 million. I don't think you're going to go that high. And of course, you got to qualify for the loan. But yes, Lisa, he can get a VA loan on his second time around. The VA funding fee is more. Instead of 2.15, it's 3.60. But Lisa, what an opportunity for him. He can use it again.
Yeah, absolutely. He can use it again. But when you say you want to buy a farm, are you talking about like a working farm or like a farmhouse? Gotcha. Okay. I was gonna say, because they have some things about working farms that would be limiting, but as long as you're not holding livestock and actually having a working farm, you'll be fine if you want to just plant some stuff and work it on the future. So yeah, absolutely. VA is a great program, 0% down. You can use it again. They reinstate your original funding fee once a home is sold. So you're renting and you don't own any of those properties anymore. Your benefit gets reinstated. So you have your entitlement is renewed. So we can absolutely help you.
Lisa, let's just say, for example, he buys VA, a house up north somewhere in some good farming area, and there's access to water and all these great things out there, 10 acres, and he's growing asparagus. Okay, he can buy the house VA zero down and have the 10 acres and turn it into a farm, if that's what he wants, or a Christmas tree farm or whatever it might be.
Yeah, I'm done with Christmas tree farms. Okay,
that sounds good. Matt Bush, go ahead, Matt.
Hey, I've got a perfect little lot over up in Springfield Township, just south of Clarkston, 10 acres. It's perfect. So if you want to, if you're looking up in northern Oakland County, let's connect after this because I've got 10 perfect acres right off of 75 and 24. I'd be happy to show you.
Beautiful, Matt. We got Ray's number. Ray, thanks for the call. See all the action and the attention we're going to give you. All right, thanks for the call. Thanks for joining us. 248-539-9797. We'll take your call no matter what it is, real estate, mortgages, anything going on in your life that we can help you with. And today, special, we got on there Jeremiah Hoehner from AAA. Jeremiah, let's bring you back into the conversation here. Always exciting stuff. But, of course, you do cars and mobile homes, and there's a lot of other things that you guys insure too. And sometimes, families now, like we talked about it a little bit with the car insurance and everything, it's not always the lowest prices and best, Jeremiah, that's for sure.
Yes, yeah, you're looking for good coverage. You really want to protect your family. Everything going on in the auto insurance with the no fault reform, and I kind of piggyback that off into the homes. There's nothing more exciting for me when I'm working with a new home buyer, especially their first time home buyers. There's some things we want to make sure we're protecting them on. And then with the refis, we're seeing so many refinances right now. It creates a tremendous opportunity to go over their home insurance. And you guys have all been mentioning a key thing this morning about updating the home. That's a great opportunity for you to talk to your insurance agent because there's discounts available with many carriers. If you put a new roof on it, if you've updated the furnace or the AC or electric, plumbing, those are all things once you've moved into that house, you can turn around and work on that new homeowners policy and potentially getting the rates down. So it's a great opportunity. Auto insurance, home insurance, everything.
Good stuff. 248-539-9797. We got a lot more to join. So join the show, 941-248-539-9797. We'll be right back.
Hi, Harry Glantz and Dan Burke from Capital Mortgage Funding. Over 30 years in the mortgage banking industry, hundreds of thousands of families served. Let us serve you. Capital Mortgage Funding, 1-800-LOW-RATE, the best mortgage banker.
Capital Mortgage. Over 30 years right here in your own backyard. We do mortgages everywhere. 1-800-LOW-RATE, the best mortgage banker. That's where you'll find our staff. And you got to deal with the professionals. I didn't say it until Matt Bush brought it up. But Matt Bush, ReMax First, talk about professional guys. In between the breaks, guys, I wish I could record it. It's a whole other hour of great information. And Matt, you talk about it all the time with the service, with the insurance guy, with Jeremiah. And he brought it up. You're refinancing your house. What a great opportunity to have that 5-10 minute conversation. Hey, we're redoing that. We're re-upping your insurance. Matt, go ahead and tell me what happened when you made that call.
Yeah. So, I've been with Jeremiah for about a year now, maybe 2 even. And the reason why I use his service is he's very proactive with me. He calls me, not too much, but just enough. I think it was around December. He called me, said, "Hey, Matt, we're going to be renewing your policy. It's going to save you, I think it was like $400 a year. Not that every time that you're going to save money. But then he also said, "Hey, listen, I know you're in real estate. There's a lot going on there. We have this new umbrella policy. It's going to cover you in case you're ever in a situation, you're growing your business and you're generating a little bit more income. This could be something that could help you. It's going to cost you $10 a month. So I'm saving you $400. Let's think about using that, $40 a month and protect you for 10, which seemed like a no-brainer." And the idea that I had somebody that was looking out for me, I'm not even considering, moving, because I know that if anything's ever going on, if there's ever anything better, I know I've got an agent like Jeremiah who's going to be on the phone telling me what that product is, what that service is, and how it's going to help me, my family, and my situation. So it's not always about price. It's sometimes about, the agent that you have, because say you have apparel. If you have some fly-by-night internet insurance company, who are you going to call? I know that I can call Jeremiah Hoehner, Facebook message him, call him, text him, and I know I'm going to get a call back. If not, he's going to answer my call every single time. So this, life's all about relationships. I wouldn't trust my accountant if it was on the internet, or my attorney if it was on the internet. That's what I'm paying for, is to have somebody that can answer my questions and can guide me and do what's right for my family.
So Matt, if you have to call a mortgage person, you're a realtor. If you have to call a mortgage person, you're not doing the buyer a favor. That's just your job.
I'm calling Lisa Lawson is what I'm doing if I've got a mortgage question, regardless of anything.
Often. Calls often.
1-800-LOW-RATE. Yeah, 100 every time. And I just want, while I got a chance, I want to welcome everybody to our open house. It's at 20600 Sunnyside in St. Clair Shores, Michigan, just north of 8 Mile. East of 94. If you've ever heard of Jam X Brewing Company, it's on that street. It's a brick ranch, 3 beds, 1.5 baths, full 2-car detached garage. It's a great starter home. We're hosting it open from 11 to 1. And I still have some other showings available this weekend. If you want to call me, 586-843-6869 to schedule a private showing. Feel free to do that. But 20600 Sunnyside in St. Clair Shores, Michigan. Come check it out while it's still on the market.
All right, open house. It's today, that open house over there on Sunnyside. Yeah, perfect. Great house. It is an awesome. It's gonna go. I mean, like Harry said, I'll buy it if no one else does. We'll rent it out. Lisa and I will buy it together and rent it out. But again, attached 2-car attached garage, 3-bedroom brick. You got 2 bathrooms in the house, and it's down the street from a brewery. What a great starter home for a kid. For any young adults or anyone who's actually retiring. Hey, Matt, all the old folks and the people that don't want those stairs anymore, right? They'll take a ranch.
Yeah, and we've got an addition. So if you want to bring up the washing machine to the first floor so you're not using in the basement, plenty of room to do that.
Oh, man.
So, it checks all the boxes. The backyard is there, but it's not too big. I always say your beer will still be cold when you're done cutting it. So it's a great starter home, or like I said, a trade down home with a lot of amenities.
Harry Glanz, Mickey had 2 home runs. Oh, I'm sorry. That's another show. But 248-539-9797. If you want to talk mortgages and real estate, we got a great staff. Harry Glanz, Lisa Lawson, myself, Harvey Freed, Matt Bush, ReMax First. Sneak your phone calls in. We've got another 5 to 6 or 7 minutes or so. And then, of course, Pat Caputo will be joining us with sports and a whole lot more. Home buying's a lot of fun, and it's really exciting out there. Call Capital Mortgage Funding. Why? Because with this refinance thing going on, at least a lot of our family and friends are able to get rid of MI, the mortgage insurance. That's called PMI on conventional loans. And on, of course, FHA loans, MIP, the mortgage insurance premium. Hey, Lise, Matt keeps saying it. There's tons of equity in your house. He talks about friends that bought this same house at $130 or $120. Here they are selling it for $189. That's a lot of equity that you can use to get rid of mortgage insurance. That's for sure.
Yeah, I think it's happening all the way around. You bought a home 2, 3, 4 years ago, and you may have put 3%
Lise,
down.
we just lost your audio. That's okay. We'll have her call back. Bring that right back up there. It's a great question too. So you definitely want to go. Harry, will you answer? Would you roll with that question here? Yeah. Fantastic stuff. 248-539-9797. Love to hear from you still. Boy, the White House is still trying to put together an infrastructure deal. But of course, those two groups up there on the White House, the Republicans, Democrats, they don't always get along. But that's not what happens when you're buying a house. Matt Bush, there's no doubt your team needs to be, and as we include Jeremiah Hoehner on it, that professional realtor, that professional mortgage person. There isn't enough communication. You guys could not talk to each other enough times. I reached out to a client and said it this week. I'm going, my phone's really quiet for us, redoing an appraisal. You're overbid on the house. The addendum looks a little questionable. It's not in the Queen's English, I'll tell you that. And boy, my phone was quiet. I had a passionate conversation with someone. I said, look, are you guys into buying this or what's going on here? How do you get people who aren't motivated? I don't know. But Matt, what a great time though for all the professional realtors like you. Always busy listing new homes. And if you're thinking about listing a house, you can hear Matt Bush's voice, man. This is what he's talking about. Get that house on the market. He'll make sure the house is presented in the right way so you can maximize what you're going to net out of it for your next home. Matt, that's just it. You might make a lot of money on your existing house, but boy, that next house you're going to buy, you must be prepared and you got to have that extra money to work with.
Yeah, and you have to have the team too. That's why having a mortgage company like yourself is so important. We talked about USDA versus VA. When you're talking, when you have that conversation with your loan officer, you're telling them what your goals are and what you're looking for. And you might think, hey, I'm just going to get a conventional loan and put 20% down. But in having that conversation, Lisa's going to process your needs and say, hey, well, we have these other loan programs that could be better fits for you and your family. And we can save money and keep it in your pocket if you do this instead of that. Or if we refocus your agenda in doing, this process. If you go VA versus USDA, you could have a different program.
Right.
You just think you got to go put 20% down to get those 10 acres. Well, hey, we have a USDA program that if you press a button and get a mortgage, nobody would have ever told you about what it is, consulted your family, and now you're saving $50,000 a month because you're keeping that $20,000 or $50,000 because now you're keeping that 20% in your pocket and you're using that to dig a well, a septic system, bringing electric or gas to the field to make it so much more palatable, or you're spending it on lumber because lumber costs are ridiculous right now. So when you talk to a team, be it your real estate professionals, your lenders, your mortgage, or you're not mortgage people, your insurance people, having a communicative team, you tell them your goals, they tell you what's best for you, and you trust them. That's what makes people win right now in this industry.
Jeremiah, that's so important.
Jeremiah, let's go ahead and have you wrap up our show, your portion of this show. Jeremiah, just any thoughts that people should know about insurance in today's marketplace? And of course, with the no-fault rules changing last year. Go ahead.
Yes, it's a very important time to talk to your agent, especially with the no-fault reform. I highly recommend you give your agent a call. There's a lot of changes that can impact the family. So we definitely want to make sure you're protected properly. It's a great time to call.
All right, we're wrapping things up. Lisa Lawson.
Yeah, same thing. I mean, we're very fortunate to work with professionals like Jeremiah and Matt, and the reason I work with them is because they always have the client's best interest at heart. They're going to take the time to have the conversation, find out what your needs are and how to best service those needs. So people all the time, they want the cheapest insurance policy because they think it makes the payment the cheapest for their house because it gets in there. But the first time you have your septic has a backup issue or your sump pump fails and you've got water issues and it's not covered because you didn't have that conversation, all of a sudden you're going to be like, shoot.
There's your reminder.
Yeah, so important to work with professionals that are going to protect your interests.
All right,
just like the ones that we have here,
like
Matt and Jeremiah.
All right, we're wrapping it up here, and we appreciate all the listeners out there. Definitely catch us. We want to wish everyone a happy Memorial Day. We got Tiger baseball coming up at 4 o'clock. Pat Caputo with sports throughout the day here. Keep it on 97.1 The Ticket. We got tons to share with you next when we come back on. Again, have a great weekend.